Investment banking is a very prestigious career path. There are many people that want to get into it, and if you're in it, you want everyone to know that. For the TikTok generation, for whom the nitty-gritty details of life are easier than ever to share, this can be a problem. An article featuring a group of young bankers flaunting their supposed wealth has ignited and somewhat embarrassed the industry, but it's only the latest in a long struggle between junior bankers and their employers of gaining clout. Find out why on the Coffee Run. This week's top story is about the finest boys in finance and its aftermath. An article published by Interview magazine with that title spread like wildfire across the industry late last week, featuring multiple junior bankers dressed in extremely expensive attire, giving quippy anecdotes about their life on and off Wall Street. People have been wondering what will happen to those involved and how it happened in the first place. The photo shoot involved two juniors from Goldman Sachs. One was Mason Clarke, an entertainment banking analyst who'd been at the firm for 2 years. Another was Clay Nelson, an associate in the bank's markets division. A third model was Barclays Associate Vice President Tommy Doherty. Since the article went live, Clarke, Nelson and Doherty have been absolutely dragged online, to say the least. It was subsequently revealed that Nelson and Clarke participated without getting Goldman Sachs to sign off on it. Some theorised they could even be fired for appearing in the magazine. They're still registered with their respective banks on FINRA as of posting this video, but BrokerCheck can take a while to update. Was there really anything in the article worth firing them over? A lot of it seemed fairly banal. Clarke spoke about how he only owns one vest, the archetypal accessory of the finance bro. Doherty said he has 10 vests. Nelson said he's looking for girls on Hinge. Doherty said he's looking for girls on Rile. It doesn't seem that crazy, but Craig Coburn, formerly head of ECM at Bank of America, writing in the FT today, said that even the banal stuff like being on Raya can be seen as a PR risk. There were some things said about their day jobs though, which could also be quite contentious if you read between the lines. Doherty and Nelson were asked how many hours they work per week, and each said roughly 55. The only person not asked was Clarke, who is obviously in a division infamous for 120-hour weeks across banking. While he didn't say how long he worked in each week, he did say he hates when his Excel freezes at 3 AM. There's also the optics of their fashion choices, a key point of criticism from online commentators. Clarke wore an Hermes tie and an Omega watch. Nelson had a Tom Ford suit and Dior shoes. These aren't the fashion choices of your average investment bank junior, and run counter to the down-to-earth collaborative culture that Goldman wants people to believe it has. Coburn wrote that they wore the kind of outfits that would get a junior analyst mocked or jeered in the real world. Those outfits are a status symbol more associated with senior staff who could say they've earned the right to wear them. And the curious thing about that is it wasn't their clothes at all. Damar Johnson, an analyst at consulting firm PwC who also appeared in the photo shoot, subsequently spoke to various media outlets about the ordeal. He said the outfits were provided by a stylist and were meant to be provocative. He admitted that if he were running an investment bank, he'd hate if one of his associates formed his company's image through their online persona. Johnson has a public TikTok and got 77,000 views on a video reacting to the reaction to the finest boys in finance. The bankers don't have prominent social media presences because that's something banking as an industry has heavily clamped down on. Rachel Wiseman, a former Goldman banker and current full-time influencer, said prior to publication of Interview's article that the bank has been discouraging analysts from making day-in-the-life content and has been keeping an eye on its staff that moonlight as influencers since mid-2024. She said her own content, which had nothing to do with her work, was heavily scrutinised. Many people want to talk about their experience in banking online, and there are different ways of doing that yield mixed results. The most common way banking influencers operate is by saying they work in a bank but not saying which one. This was the MO of Juliette McKay, who worked in the investment banking division of Bank of America. She posted various day-in-the-life videos in addition to other non-banking content, but in a restructuring last year, she was moved out of the division and into a middle or back office function. It's not clear whether her online persona played any role in this, but we have noticed other TikTokers in Bank of America's front office that continue to post without any repercussions. McKay's account is a particularly interesting case because even after leaving the investment banking division, her videos suggest that she still has the working hours of a front office banker. To the untrained eye, she would still appear to work in IBD. Her day-in-the-life videos still showed her finishing work at 2 in the morning, even when that's not customary in areas like risk or compliance. This leads into another reason that banks may not want their staff to post TikToks about their day job. Controversy sells. The average post about your corporate job is probably a little bit boring, but if you're working 120-hour weeks and have to deal with an overbearing MD, you suddenly have a lot more to talk about. When talking about more controversial aspects of the job, bankers will sometimes hide both their bank and their real name. One RBC associate did this last summer, accruing millions of views on videos in which she said she averaged 3 hours of sleep a night and complained about her pampered colleagues in the US. That anonymous poster was eventually found by RBC and the account was made private. Another way people leverage their banking jobs for clout is simply waiting until after they leave to talk about it. Jonathan Tristan, formerly in Deutsche Bank's investment banking division, has had various popular videos discussing how banking affected his health. He left the industry years ago, however, and shows little interest in returning. We've also seen people use the followings they've built from posting about working in a bank to try and launch everything from music careers to matcha brands. You might gain more freedom once you get more senior. Ex-Goldman Sachs MD Rebecca Anderton Davies amassed almost 90,000 Instagram followers while working at the bank, although she hasn't posted since 2023. Graham G. Dog Ambrose, another Goldman MD, has amassed over 20,000 Instagram followers as a 56-year-old fitness influencer. Coburn wrote in the FT that senior bankers are more trusted with media appearances, but they'll often do so under the watchful gaze of the bank's communications team. Banking as an industry has a precarious reputation that it would really like to protect, so however harmless you may think your TikTok is, your employer might think differently. Ultimately, if you want a long career in banking and a big social media presence, you might have to end up picking one over the other. So, what's more important to you, the money or the fame? Thank you for watching The Coffee Run. If you want to receive daily news updates on stories like these, click the link below to subscribe to Morning Coffee, our newsletter that breaks down the biggest stories in banking and financial services from Monday to Friday every week. Next Friday, we'll be looking back at one of those stories in more detail and telling you other things you might have missed. If you want to see more of The Coffee Run, like this video and subscribe to the channel.